2012, and instead of Samsung or iPhone, you decided to choose the best camera nugget in the world, the Nokia 808 PureView, because it had 41 megapixels in 2012. Is that a typo? Yep, it was not a typo actually. That's how much it had, and the camera sensor for the time was massive. And when you got the phone, a removable battery. Holy shit, look at those features that we don't get today. Which, yeah, was 1400 milliamp hours. Not that big, kind of small. Got papers, no one cares about papers. Just papers. It got a charging brick, a USB cable, headphones, and a lanyard. I don't know if that lanyard is official or not. And yes, I'm just posting this over, so that's why it's not. But yeah, you get Oreo nuggets. They were better than Samsung at the time for a few more years. It's quite funky. And yeah, just level lanyards, maybe. It's just made in Turkey, because why not? And yeah, its specs. Well, the Nokia 808 PureView had a 1.3 gigahertz processor with 512 megs of RAM and 16 gigabytes of internal storage. Now it was expandable via micro SD slot, which you will see later. Selfie cam was nothing to yap about, just a VGA camera. But the rear camera is a 41 megapixel f2.4 1 to 1.2 inch autofocus with xenon flash and ND filter and all those features. Now that's a camera, even though it ran freaking Symbian Bell, which was outdated at the time. One downside to its camera though is that it didn't have OIS, which wasn't introduced later till the 920, and the same sensor had almost the same with the 1020. And yeah, it's just a normal Symbian phone experience, which, yeah, it was basically a dead platform at the time, but they released the phone with it anyway because they spent like 5 years making the damn camera. But they did make the damn camera really freaking good for the time, considering that it was the best camera phone for like 5 years at least. Because like no one were doing 40 megapixel cameras till like 2018. Till like Huawei finally did it. And yeah, it also had the xenon flash and the filter, which are also cool features that we don't see on phones nowadays. Just trying to imitate them via software, but it doesn't work too well. And yeah, here it has a micro SIM slot and a micro SD slot, and it has NFC on the back cover. And it even says that it's NFC, unlike newer phones. As well as micro USB-A, micro HDMI, and a headphone jack. So in general, the Nokia 808 PureView takes okay-ish photos. But yeah, you can see the lack of OIS doing its thing with like, sometimes the photos turn out kind of blurry. But yeah, also in some cases it's also just the decided to focus on the wrong thing. Which, yeah, can happen. Like, yeah, here once again, it's like a bit blurry. The colors look good. In this case, yeah, the dynamic range is not great because the sky is just white. And yeah, once again, the focus kind of not really doing too much focusing. That's kind of understandable in this case. Look at that light. It's crooked. That's fine. Yes, you can see when it focused, you can even see like the droplet going and bouncing from the water surface. In a lot of cases, actually. And this is like one of the better photos, but it still looks kind of out of focus. Yeah, the foreground is blurry, but that's kind of expecting that case. Yeah, in this case there's a rainbow, and yeah, since I focused in the sky and well, it was kind of getting darker, you can actually see the sky, which some older phones don't do that. You'll see that later. And it still looks like blurry because like it has no IS. It can't do the thing. Oh, when you do focus, still not focused enough. Still, however, when you do focus, then yeah, you can see the details really good. You can see that zooming out from all of this. Like yeah, even the water droplets in the fly's legs, in the fly itself, I guess. Yeah, you can see how the fly is in focus. Yes, yeah. Background isn't. Yeah, the sensor size and the optic size and all that sort of stuff is doing its thing here, because like the artificial bokeh would just kind of ignore the fly and really kind of cut off and weird, but yeah, the fly is clearly in focus here. And you can see the fine lines and even like details like this still being in the shot. Like yeah, once again, the hairs here from the flower being in focus, while for it's like not in focus. When it performs good, it performs really freaking good. But when it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't. Photo of the sky. Of course, now everything else like here is just dark. Oblivion, but yeah, it looks actually quite a nice photo. I'm not quite sure if I took this with an ND filter or not, and look, that's a bird or something in the sky. Well, here's that with the sun out, and you can see the lens glare looks like it should, I guess. And yeah, you can see how you can still see like the detail of the leaves. It's quite cool. This photo is quite cool as well, because I can just zoom into that house over there and see like all the boards, like all the gaps from that distance. And when it's close, this photo looks like really good. It's like a really good photo from a 13-year-old phone. Like you can just zoom in and see shit and it looks good and stuff. You can tell I'm not a photographer. But now it's time to compare. And for the comparison, I also got a Samsung Galaxy Note 2 and my actual Galaxy Fold. There you go, we got the 808 PureView over here, the Note 2 over here, and my Fold over here. And yeah, you can instantly tell that my Fold's doing a way better job at this. Zooming in, shot at 12 megapixel mode, so that's that. And here's a Note 2, and here's a PureView. Whoops. The PureView seems to be comparable to my Fold, actually, in a way. You have it in the Note 2. Of course, the dynamic range is like miles better on my Fold. Like, the sky is colored like the sky. Also, unlike on the other. So yeah, here's the wire. There's the wire on the Note. And here's the wire on the Fold. The Fold, of course, has the best detail. The Note kind of tried to blend it in with the sky, and the PureView actually made it visible. Like, it just looks like some weird lines in the Note. So yeah, now you got a tree. And you can instantly tell where the Note 2 is, because it looks by far the worst. And like, the main difference between like the Fold and the 808 is like the sky is not being like sky just white. Yeah, the grass, which is quite visible. Here it looks over sharpened, and here it looks well kind of how you would expect it to look like. And yeah, you can see that stuff like everywhere. It looks like more natural, I guess, and like it over sharpens like a lot. Well, there's smooth lines and here's sharp lines. So yeah, there's that. In terms of further details, yeah, it's about the same. The however, on the 808, the leaf is more defined than on the Fold, surprisingly. So that's a thing. And then we move on to the Fountain, and once again, the Note 2 just looks plain old crappy and old. Of course, the 808 PureView also has the same thing, where the sky is just white and the Fold has a normal sky. And yeah, in this case, it was really freaking difficult for the 808 PureView to focus on the Fountain, because like, once again, everything is like kind of blurred out, because like couldn't properly focus. While on the Fold, yeah, even into a 12 megapixel mode, it's way more clear of like what's going on. The lights, however, like yeah, the Fold once again does the best job. The Note does the worst job, and the 808 PureView is somewhere in between. It's like the processing of the Note with the quality of the Fold. Yeah, we got this case here, where, well, once again, the Note 2 just made literally everything bright. Everything. Like, it was kind of a low-light situation at this point, so like, oh no, it's getting dark, let's make everything bright. And yeah, in terms of detail, it kind of captured, but it also focused on the background a lot. Instead of like, it doesn't look, the flower doesn't look too focused. On the 808 PureView, it like did the bokeh stuff once again, focused on the flower, and everything else is like blurred. And here's the spider web, clearly visible on the Note. Yeah, I mean, you can see it's there, but like you can't see the strands like properly. Like you wouldn't tell that there's like that here, like blends in with the other thing in the background. And yeah, on the Fold, it's about the same kind of detail as on the 808, but the blur, especially over here with the trees, looks super weird. Like on the 808 looks fine, even though the sky is white. But hey, 808 kind of tried to like do stuff and see the sky over here. And in general, just the blur is way nicer on the 808 PureView. Just looks more natural, I guess. And yeah, that is that. And now I swear I took this photo at about the same time on all phones. Yeah, you can see how the Fold just made it day and everyone else is at night. And once again, like the 808 PureView looks kind of yellowish compared to the Note, where it's like blue. So that's like a little thing. Yeah, it kind of does give a better try at preserving the details, because like once you zoom in, you can actually tell that these are leaves, not some weird static shaped like leaves on the Note. So that is actually quite nice. And while yeah, here it's just freaking daytime. It's like non-comparable. Once again, for the last photo, which was made under a street light, and once again the Galaxy Fold just makes it like it's day, and that shadow just looks kind of weird because of it. Well, yeah, Note, once again, it's actually quite comparable to the 808 PureView. It's just once again, the 808 is more warmer than the Note, and the Note kind of loses the detail in trying to make things sharper, while yeah, not sharper, but whatever like that. But yeah, the blurriness on the 808 PureView comes back. Like in this case, in terms of detail, the Fold looks the best. Actually, the Note 2 is even better than the 808 PureView, but the 808 PureView kind of looks like, how would you expect in terms of like the colors and stuff? While the Fold just makes it daytime. That's night photography for you, I guess. He has evolved. But like once again, the 808 PureView loses a lot because of the lack of OIS, which was like later introduced in 920 and then 1020 and all that sort of stuff. But in terms of colors, it does way better of a job. And you can tell that it's more natural low light photography than computational on the Note 2. Yeah, you can tell I'm not a photographer, just judging them by my eyes. Yeah. In this case, in terms of color, the 808 is better detailed, the fold. But the fold makes it look like it's day, not night. So that's that. And then the Note 2, it's kind of the thing because it has the detail, but it's also like, you can tell that that's grass. You can't really tell. A bush, maybe. Yeah, here is just like everything's clear as day, even though it's like all over taken at the same conditions. That's what over a decade does to mobile photography. And yeah, in this bit, yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, personally, I think that the 808 PureView was a good phone for its time, and its camera definitely held up fairly well even to this day. But yeah, shortcomings are starting to show. But that's why I'll make a video about the 1020, where it fixed some of those shortcomings and had such features as raw photography and optical image stabilization. But unfortunately the sensor size is a tad bit smaller and the ND filter was lost. So yeah. For now, thanks for watching and goodbye.